Welcome to my story time by mybooksummary.com. Get ready for quick wisdom of countless stories and explore. The Wizard of Oz by LFrankBaum. Imagine waking up one morning, sipping your tea, staring out the window at the calm, endless prairie. And the next thing you know, your entire house is airborne, spinning in a tornado like a rogue piece of laundry in a dryer. Welcome to Dorothy Gale's life, where even an innocent day on her Kansas farm can turn into an adventure worthy of legends. Frank Baum's The Wizard of Oz is more than just a children's book. It's a wild, heartwarming, and slightly bonkers journey through a land filled with magical creatures, talking scarecrows, and a wizard whose job qualifications are, quite frankly, questionable. Published in 1900, this classic has become a cornerstone of fantasy literature, inspiring movies, musicals, and endless adaptations. But before all that, it was just a story about a girl, her dog, and a long, yellow brick road leading to a destiny she never saw coming. The crash landing that changed everything. Dorothy Gale, a young girl living on a dreary Kansas farm with her Aunt Em and Uncle Henry, doesn't exactly lead a thrilling life. The most exciting thing around is her little dog, Toto, who has an impressive talent for getting into trouble, especially with the mean old neighbor, Miss Gulch, in some versions of the story. Just when things seem hopeless, nature itself intervenes in the most dramatic way possible. A tornado sweeps Dorothy, Toto, and her entire house off the ground and flings them into a whole new world. When the house finally crash lands, Dorothy stumbles outside and realizes that Kansas is nowhere in sight. Instead, she's greeted by the bright and magical land of Oz, where the grass is greener, the sky is bluer, and the locals are about 3 feet tall. And oh, what an entrance she makes. Turns out, Dorothy's house has landed directly on top of the Wicked Witch of the East, effectively turning her into the world's flattest villain. The tiny, grateful munchkins cheer for Dorothy, singing praises, while Glinda, the good witch of the North, arrives in a floating bubble to say, "Hey kid, nice work. Here, have some magical shoes." Enter the Wicked Witch of the West, the dead witch's very cranky sister, who arrives with all the drama of a reality TV villain, demanding to know who stole her late sister's prized ruby slippers. Glinda, ever the passive-aggressive queen, casually makes the shoes disappear from under the crushed body and appear on Dorothy's feet instead. Dorothy, who had literally just gotten here, is now public enemy number 1 in Witchland. Glinda, meanwhile, tells Dorothy that the only way back to Kansas is to go see the mysterious Wizard of Oz, who lives in the Emerald City at the end of the yellow brick road. With no other options and a new pair of fancy shoes, Dorothy sets off on what is probably the weirdest road trip in literary history. Building the dream team, a scarecrow, a tin man, and a cowardly lion. Let's be honest, no great journey is complete without an oddball group of companions, and Dorothy's new friends do not disappoint. First, she meets the Scarecrow, a guy who's literally stuffed with hay and has a self-esteem problem because he believes he has no brain. The irony? He's the smartest one in the group. Next, they find the Tin Man, a former human who rusted solid after forgetting to oil himself. Talk about poor self-maintenance. He claims to have no heart, but in reality, he's the most emotional of them all. Finally, they encounter the Cowardly Lion, a big, fluffy cat who should be the king of the jungle, but instead jumps at his own shadow. He wants courage, but spoiler alert, he's already brave. The 4 misfits, plus Toto, the true mastermind of this operation, march toward the Emerald City, dodging man-eating plants, wicked witches, and general absurdity along the way. The wizard, or just a guy with a smoke machine. After what feels like an eternity of walking, seriously, why does no one in Oz invent a wagon service? Dorothy and her friends finally reach the Emerald City, where the so-called Wizard of Oz resides. The city itself is stunning, green-tinted everything, magical architecture, and an overall vibe of "we definitely have money here." They gain an audience with the wizard, but here's the catch. The guy refuses to grant them anything until they kill the Wicked Witch of the West. Talk about a tough job interview. Dorothy and her squad reluctantly agree and head off to the witch's castle, where things go south fast. The Wicked Witch captures Dorothy and her friends, but just when it seems like all is lost, Dorothy does the most accidental hero move ever. She throws a bucket of water at the witch, not realizing that this is basically kryptonite to her. The Wicked Witch melts into a puddle of evil goo, screaming all the way down, and just like that, Dorothy becomes a 2-time witch slayer. Back at the Emerald City, the wizard is forced to fulfill his promises, but there's just one issue: he's a total fraud. No magic, no powers, just a regular old man who got stuck in Oz after his hot air balloon went off course. He's been using special effects and theatrics to keep up the illusion of wizardry, and now he's basically exposed like a magician whose rabbit just ran away mid-trick. To his credit, he does try to make things right. He gives the Scarecrow a diploma, because obviously education equals intelligence. He gives the Tin Man a heart-shaped watch, as if love comes from accessories. He gives the Lion a medal for courage, because confidence is all about having the right accessories, apparently. Then he promises to take Dorothy home in his balloon, but surprise! The balloon takes off without her. Classic wizard move. Final thoughts: there's no place like home. Just when all hope seems lost, Glinda appears again, looking smug, and casually tells Dorothy, "Oh, you could have gone home at any time. Just click your heels together." Wait, what? Dorothy, understandably, is like, "You mean I walked across this entire country, battled a witch, and befriended a rusted man for nothing?" But alas, she does as Glinda says, clicks her ruby slippers, and poof, she's back in Kansas, waking up in her bed like it was all a dream. But was it? With that, Dorothy's adventure in Oz comes to an end. But her journey has left us with one of the most beloved stories of all time. Because at its core, The Wizard of Oz is more than just a whimsical tale about a girl and a magical land. It's about self-discovery, friendship, and the realization that what we seek is often already inside us. Also, that old men in castles should not be trusted. And most importantly, there really is no place like home. Stay tuned for more enlightening content. Head over to www.mybooksummary.com. Don't forget to subscribe and share the magic with friends, and let's grow together through the power of books and interesting stories.